All right, are you guys ready to do some more rounding today? We're going to practice together, and then I'll let you go do it on your own. How are you doing so far? I think you're doing pretty good on it. We're going to keep working on this today. They're going to look very similar with a few more things added in today. So let's start at the beginning. Number one, round to the nearest thousand. So all of these for number one, we're rounding to the nearest thousand. Remember, the first thing we want to do is underline the place that we are rounding. And then we look to the right of it, and we've got a 3. 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise the score to 3. So we let this 5 rest, and it remains 5. And all the numbers to the right of it become zeros. 5,000. These are pretty easy now after doing this a couple days, aren't they? All right, rounding to the thousands place, we've got a 4 in the thousands place with a 5 to the right. 5 or more, raise the score. It makes that 4 a 5. And all the numbers to the right of it become zeros because it's closer to 5,000 than 4,000. Letter C, rounding to the thousands place. We've got a 2 in the thousands place and a 0 beside it. Now remember, these get a little confusing when there's a 4 here. We just leave that 4 alone. But remember what we're between on a number line. We're between 42,000 and 43,000. We've got a 0 here, so that 2 is left alone. 4 or less, let it rest, and it's closer to 42,000 than 43,000. Letter D, rounding to the nearest thousands place. I've got a 1 there. Okay, even though it's a big number, we're just looking at the thousands place. I've got a 5 beside it. 5 or more, raise the score. That's going to change to a 2. So we know this is between 801,000 and 802,000. It's closest to 800. We said it raises it to a 2. 802,000. Now look at part E. Explain how you found your answer for 1D. 1D is number 1, letter D. How did we find that this was 802,000? What do we think? What did we do? Well, if you drew a number line, you would see that halfway between 801,000 and 802,000 would be 801,500. And we know it's halfway or more, so we would go up. Or if we just tell the way we did it, we know the number in the hundreds place is more than halfway to the next number. So we're going to write that. Explain how we found our answer. We rounded up because the number to the right was a 5. Now that's how I would explain it. If you used a number line, you might say because the number was more than halfway to the higher number or something like that. All right, moving on. Round to the nearest 10,000. So we've got the same numbers with another question underneath them here. So we've got the same type of thing with another question, but this time we're rounding to the 10,000s place. So we've got a 2 with a 6. 5 or more, raise the score. That changes the 2 to a 3. Everything to the right becomes a 0. On a number line, we know that 26,000 is between 20,000 and 30,000. 25,000 would be halfway. So this would be more than halfway, so it goes up to the 30,000. Letter B, 34,920. We're rounding to the 10,000s place. We've got a 3 there with a 4 beside it. 4 or less, let it rest. So this stays a 3, and everything to the right of it becomes a 0. On a number line, it would have been between 30,000 and 40,000. 35,000 would have been halfway, and this is less than 35,000, so it goes down to 30,000. Letter C, rounding to the 10,000s place. We've got an 8, and the number to the right is a 9. 5 or more, raise the score. It changes that 8 to a 9, but remember the numbers to the left, we've got to leave there. So 7, 9, and then everything to the right becomes a 0. Okay, on a number line, we would have seen this was between 780,000 and 790,000. Halfway would have been 785,000, and this is more than that, so it rounds up to 790,000. Letter D, rounding to the nearest 10,000s place. We've got a 0 there, and we've got a 6 to the right of it. So 5 or more, raise the score. Excuse me, getting hoarse. Raise the 0 to a 1, but leave that 7 in front of it. 7, 1. Then we've got to have everything to the right become a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So the answer is 710,000. On a number line, we would have had 700,000 and 710,000. Halfway would have been 705,000. And the 706,000 is more than that, so it rounds up to the 710,000. Letter E. Why do two problems have the same answer? What? Well, if we look up at the top at A and B again, A and B have the same answer, even though we were rounding different numbers. Why is that? Why do they have the same answer when they were different numbers to begin with? How would you explain that? Well, we were rounding to what place? Because both of them, when we were rounding to the 10,000s place, were closer to 30,000. Okay? 26 is closer to 30,000. 26,000 is closer to 30,000. 34,920 is closer to 30,000 when we're rounding to the 10,000s place. So why do they have the same answer? Because both numbers were closest to 30,000 when rounding to the 10,000s place. Does that make sense? I think that's an easy way to answer that question. Letter F. Write another number that has the same number answer when rounded to the nearest 10,000. So we've got to come up with a number that would also round to 30,000. What do you think? You want to make it really, really, really easy? If we're rounding to the 10,000s place, what if we did 29,999? That's almost 30,000. We know it's going to round up to the 30,000, isn't it? Okay. Can you think of some more numbers that would? There's lots of numbers. Anything that's above a 20 we're rounding to 10,000 place. Anything that's 25,000 or above, or anything that's 34,999 or below. So there's a lot of numbers in between those two. Okay, moving on. This time we're rounding to the nearest 100,000s place. So 840,000. We got a 4 beside it. 4 or less, let it rest. It stays an 8. Everything to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, becomes a 0. Okay. Here's 100,000s place. It's got a 5 to the right of it. 5 or more, raise the score. So that changes the 8 to a 9. Everything beside it stays a 0. It becomes a 0. 5 zeros again. 2, 3, 4, 5. Rounding to the 100,000s place, the numbers beside it is a 6. 5 or more, raise the score. 7 becomes an 8. And everything to the right of it becomes a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Rounding to the 100,000s place, we've got a 9 beside it. 5 or more, raise the score. That 9 becomes a 10. We'll write it like that. And then everything beside it becomes a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, what is that number? Well, let's put our periods here. There's the first one. There's the thousands period. So that number is 1 million. Got to put your commas in. Sorry, you couldn't see that, could you? All right. Now, again, explain why 2 problems have the same answer. Well, these 2 problems right here, both rounded to 800,000. How are we going to describe that? We can say both numbers rounded to 800,000 when rounding to the 100,000s place. Okay? And letter F says, write another number that has the same answer when rounding to the nearest 100,000s place. So we've got to get a number that would round to 800,000. You want to do a super easy one again? You want to do like we did last time? How about 799,000? If we're rounding to the 100,000s place, that's going to make it an 8. 800,000. Okay. Got to keep going. Got a lot of problems today, don't we? Number 4 says, the 2012 Super Bowl had an attendance of just 68,658 people. If the headline in the newspaper the next day read, about 70,000 people attended the Super Bowl, how did the newspaper round to estimate the total number of people in attendance? Well, let's take a look at this. Let's look at our number, 68,658. So, and then they rounded it to 70,000. So basically what this is asking is, what place did they round it to get 70,000? Okay, well, let's look and see. We'll just look at the thousands here. Did they round it to the thousands place? If they rounded it to the thousands place, then this 8 has a 6 beside it. It would have gone up and made it a 9 to make it 69,000. So no. How about the 10,000s place? Let's see. It's a 6 with an 8 beside it, and that would make that 8. It's 5 or more, raise the score, make it go up to a 7. So they rounded the 10,000s place. Let's see how the question is asked. How did the newspaper round to estimate the total number of people? We're just going to write, they rounded to the 10,000s place. Okay. Next question. The 2011 Super Bowl had an attendance of 103,219 people. If the headline in the newspaper the next day read, about 200,000 people attended the Super Bowl, is the newspaper's estimates reasonable? Use rounding to explain your answer. So they said 103,219 people would round to 200,000. What do you think? Just looking at that number, you can about see that's a long way from 200,000, isn't it? So if they rounded to the 100,000s place, would you get 200,000? No, because you have a 0 beside it, and it would round to, it would leave this 1 alone and make it 100,000. So Is their estimate reasonable? No. The estimate is too high. But then it says use rounding to explain your answer. The estimate is too high because 103,219 is closer to 100,000 than 200,000. And then it explains our answer. Letter C. According to the problems above, about how many more people attended the Super Bowl in 2011 than in 2012? Round each number to the largest place value before giving the estimated answer. So we've got to find how many people attended the Super Bowl in 2011 first. Here's this one. The 2011s had the Super Bowl had an attendance of 103,219 people. And the 2012 Super Bowl had just 68,658 people. So we've got that. What do the directions say to do? Round each number to the largest place value first. So round each number to the largest place value. The largest place value is 100,000s. So this one would round to the 100,000s place. Hold on one second. Let's look at this again. According to the problem above, about how many more people attended the Super Bowl? This one's largest place value is 10,000. I'm mistaken. I messed up there. So let's round this one to the 100,000s place because it's the largest place it has. It's got a 0 beside it, so it would stay 100,000. This one has the largest place value of 10,000s. It's got an 8 beside it. 5 or more raise the score. It makes it 70,000. And it says about how many more people attended the Super Bowl in 2011 than in 2012. We rounded, and now we're going to subtract to find how many more. So there were about 100,000 people there in 2011, and there were only about 70,000 people there in 2012. So let's see how many more this is. Well, thinking back to our place value chart, you can have 7 10,000s and 10 10,000s. Is it what that is? Isn't it really? 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's subtract and see. There we go. 100,000 minus 70,000 would be 30,000. About how many more people attended the Super Bowl in 2011? About 30,000 more people attended in 2011 than in 2012. All right, it's time for you to go try your work for today. I think you're going to do great as you always do. We will see you tomorrow.